Now I have to make 2 streams. Unssi, sä et mene yhtään mihinkään ennen kuin paholainen minussa on sammutettu. Ei vaan. Hyvää yötä, Unssi. Kiitos, että olit mukana katsomassa ja kommentoimassa. Enää taas seuraavan striimin parissa. Voisiko tää jatkuu vittu? Mulla on kuuma. Ot huppur pois. Aamuun joo. Silmät edelleen.
This is usually where you bring up the Topeka shit show. Give up Charlie's left nut to be in Topeka right about now.
Tänne. Anni on nukkumassa. Nyt jo. Kuinka monta kertaa mun pitää tehdä tää? Voit pystyykö nää rahat koko ajan samana? Koska musta tuntuu, että tuo rahamäärä vaan koko ajan nousee ja nousee.
Got it.
Antaa pitää ne rahat.
I don't fucking know. And I do not care.
Here. Sanni ei oo näkynyt sitä haahkaa. Noin. Voihan se myös olla, että Sanni ei uskalla tulla. Sä voit pelata.
His hand's been cut off. Before or after he died? How the hell should I know?
On jo oven silti, on jo oven.
You hear that? What? Like... whimpering. Is that...
Säikähtäkö Mirriä 3 kertaa?
Ja se silti otti sen koiran.
Silti otti sen koiran?
Ne.
Tarkoittaa.
No Kate meni piiloon toiseen huoneeseen ja vittu tämä Jamie vei sen koiran sinne samaan huoneeseen.
No, sitten ne molemmat ei voi selvitä.
I won't hurt you.
Ellei Kate vittu keksi jotain.
Kekseliäs Kate.
But if it comes to that, Jamie's die. No! I don't wanna kill a dog.
The dog has a shorter life than Jamie.
But Jamie's bitch.
Jamie is not bitch. We're talking about Kate.
I don't wanna kill the dog.
You're not gonna kill the dog dies because the man is a monster.
I'm gonna see what happens. Kate is gonna have to help.
Wait.
Kate, vittu tee jotain.
No!
No niin, tekihän se jotain. And the dog got his hand. Everybody wins.
Get off the path. Hide.
Kannattaa sulkea silmät. Mark got the lighthouse working.
Just.
Ei näytä tuolta. So distressed.
Aha. Ja tietää mihin me mentiin, kun mentiin johonkin tutkaan.
Tutkaan.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, mihin mä jätin Erin ja Charlie?
Oh,
Oh, Blad.
there you are. I wasn't expecting you. Are you early for a change?
Did you give him your axe?
No. He took it because I was too weak to fucking take it. Aha.
What the hell was that?
Mä hakkaan tänään ja...
Thank God. It's only you.
Voi ei, teenkö minä nyt väärin?
Have you seen Mark?
He's all right.
Have you seen Mark? He's alright.
Get that bloody light going.
Mark?
Mä löin sitä naamaa, mut sit sillä ei nyt tapahtunut mitään. Liian
Avatkaa se
kestävä
vitun
maski.
ovi, vittu. Aha. Marky Mark.
Kid?
Mitä sä teet? Vittu sä olet vammainen. Tää peli, I swear.
Oikeesti, mitä helvettiin.
Vitun salkkarit riding.
Mä oikeesti hakkasin tuota äijää huolella ja...
Is that her?
That's her.
Kaikki veneeseen, eikä todellakaan törmätä sillä kiveen. Mitä Charlille tavat?
Mä löin sitä vähys.
Aha. Police 10.
Police!
State. Help. Help. Kuitenkin se on yhteistyössä tämän
Yksi
kanssa.
poliisi.
Yhdessä veneessä. Äijällä on Batmanin vyö.
Äijällä on myös hölmistynyt ilme.
Miksi me tiedään, oltu ihan tuossa vieressä?
What the hell?
What the...
Hands where I
Yeah,
can
I'm
see
gonna
you,
need
all
backup.
of you.
There he is.
He killed them. No talking. I said hands where I can see them.
Otetaan nyt ihan rauhassa.
Thank God you're here. You have to help us.
Until I know what's happening here.
Oh my days.
Sir, behind you. The boat.
Seriously, lady?
Sä et kuullut, kun se heitti sen vitun molotovin?
No. Talkkarit riding.
Chop chop.
Bruh.
Häneltäkin lähti käsi.
Ja nyt se laukaisi tuleen.
Take the gun. Not the pepper spray.
Somebody grab the gun.
Let's go.
No, take the
grab
gun.
Get his gun.
You can use it. You're a black man.
No voi vittu.
Grab the pepper spray. Use it on him.
Sillä on maski päällä.
Mutta ei sen suu peitetty. Eikä sen silmä kuoppia.
Hohoijakkaa.
Niinpä.
This way.
Yikes, indeed.
This should work.
Käynnistä venekate.
Starter cord.
Pokepallo.
There.
Ram! Ram! Vedä
Vedän
sitä
nyt
nainen.
uudestaan.
Doko! Ottakaa se kyytiin.
Hey, Connie. Good to see
That's
you, boy.
Connie?
Come on.
Come on.
Kani. My sweet boy, hän on niin pieni jos... Miksi tää vitun nainen, joka ei saanut edes kirvestä vedettyä kannasta irti vittu vetää tota, eikä joku mies? What the fuck?
Tää vaan katos. Can he swim like Jason?
Maybe. Saanut tässä pitää vielä pelaa jotain minipelejä vittu.
Toivottavasti ei. Please no more gameplay, mä en halua tää kun se siihen, että vittu törmätään johonkin paskaan.
We did it.
Barely. I'll take it.
We have to call the police.
Aim for the lights.
Mä vannoin, jos se tulee tuolta vedestä.
You know,
There's no shot.
I've just had a great idea for series 2.
Oh, bitch, shut the
Ultimately,
fuck
it's a
up.
big final twist. Good luck finding a host for that bullshit. I'm out.
I'm just glad I'm in one piece.
Girl, how did he do that?
Mitä vi...
Hang on.
Okei, tää ei oo normaali ihminen.
Connie, grab his balls!
Konnia menee veteen myös.
Sä! Hyppäsi itsestään veteen.
Oh-oh.
Well, he's sleeping now.
Miten me selvitään tästä silleen, että...
Oh!
Ah! Rewind, rewind, rewind.
Are you sure?
Yes. Oh, are we gonna head for the shore?
Do we seriously want to?
Yeah, koska mä luulen, että...
Niin, että kaikki pitää hypätä ja sitten toi törmää tuohon veneeseen ja...
Yes. Tätä muijas, ootko kuullut niin monta kertaa, että se voi kuulla tässä lopussa? Why is it always her? Me pelastettiin toi muija pitkän kaavan kautta, me ei voida lyhyen kaavan kautta nyt antaa sykua. Oikeastaan peli did her dirty. Why is she in the most... tapauksessa mahdollisuus kuolla hänelle. Mutta mitä sä teit väärin tossa?
Minä hyökkäsin sen sijaan, että
Hyppäsit.
hyppäsin veteen. Mä ajattelin silleen, okei, tässä on varmaan pakko hypätä, mutta mä olin silleen, no ehkä tää onnistuu, mutta eihän tässä vittu ikinä mikään onnistu, saatana.
Niin, kun on hautu aina semmosia, että jos ne pistää taistelemaan, niin ne osaa taistella. Kukaan ei ikinä osaa taistella, poliisikaan osaa ampua vittu.
Jos mä otais kaikki oltu valkoisia, jos varmasti kuunnellut meitä.
You have to help us.
Niinpä.
Until I know what's happening here, no one moves.
Se oli vielä hiljaa ja sit tuolta tulva toi tss.
Sir, behind
Ehkä
you.
jos nää POC-hahmot ei ois sanonut mitään, niin sit tää Jasu se luoton.
Tehdään kaikki samalla tavalla, koska me saadaan tarvita sitä peppurisumutetta myöhemmin.
Niin.
Yeah, let's go.
Get his gun.
Come on.
Come on,
This way.
Mark said calmly.
It should work.
Oh, it's not working. Starter cord. There. Work, damn it!
Hey, Connie. Good to see you, boy.
That's Connie.
Come on. Just work.
Siis tuleeks ton veden kautta? What the fuck?
Joo.
Mä luulin, että se oli tossa vitun laiturilla.
Girl, use your eyes.
I cannot see anything in this game. So dark with. This game, so dumb. So stupid.
We did it.
Barely. I'll take it.
We have to call the police.
Aim for the lights.
You know, I've just had a great idea for series 2.
All that's missing is a big final twist. Good luck finding a host for that bullshit. I'm out.
I'm just glad I'm in one piece.
Nyt edes kaatui ton.
Hang on!
No, please.
Oliko jotain muita mahdollisuuksia tossa?
Ei.
Tos piti vähän väistää. Se olisi muuten varmaan ottanut damagea. Yeah. Oh. I'm Mark. Maskit pois. Dad. Oi, bled. Oh. I can die here, I can die here. Jos se painaa mut alas, niin he will kill me. Ankkuri. Pohjaan. What? Lol. The power. Mitä mun pitää tehdä? Mitä mun pitää tehdä? Ei joo. Ankkurit pohjaan. Oh shit. Pehmeä ylävartalo. Okei, tossa on vahva moottori vittu, jos se silti vetää. Mutta entäs me nyt törmätään? Girl! Girl! Somebody steer! Mitä te teette? Mitä nyt tapahtuu? What the fuck? Okei. Mä pelastin meidät. How? Mä painoin Xää, missä mä... mäkin painoin Xää. No onneksi olkoon Malcolm X. Aha. Is he dead? Ainakin se, miten paljon verta sieltä tuli, niin varmaan joo. No vittu, ei oo varmaan kuollut siihen saada. Tulee nyt tässä vastaan. Super shy, super shy.
No damn commercial.
Minä aina. Oh my fucking god. Vitun idiootti, can you... Paina Xää. Paina säkin Xää.
And I looked up, and there they were just in the middle of the flipping road.
Flipping
their
road.
hands and arms like a bunch of crazies.
Where you coming in from?
Fort Wayne. Been driving since 3 a.m.
Missä on Kaani?
Well, I was trying to get into the port by 8.
Kaani!
Probably not gonna make that now.
Happier ending. The dog made it off the island alive. Yes. Ehkä ainoa peli ikinä, missä kaikki on selvinnyt.
I think I'm gonna see about that studio in Brooklyn. See if I can make it work. After this, start now if it feels like a good idea.
Yeah. Just promise me you'll tell me how it goes.
Only if you promise to keep giving me unsolicited advice.
Count on it.
All this for 20 minutes of content.
Probably not the right time to ask this, but...
Oh god, what?
Are we like, are we a thing?
Dude, trauma bonding is legit hot.
What the fuck?
Yes, we're a thing.
Trauma bonding ei kuulosta kovin hyvältä minusta.
Hys nyt.
That sounds like a recipe for disaster.
That sounds like...
Se on sama kuin kaksi alkoholistia alkaisi seurustelemaan.
Ei
Need
oo.
a smoke, buddy.
Mä en polta enää. Mut melkein poltettiin.
Actually, you know what?
Poggers.
I'm trying to quit.
Hyvä mies. That's what's up. Kaikilla muilla on joku paitsi Charlie. Tai no voiko heitä edes sanoa sellaisiksi.
Hai.
Kun he ovat eronneet.
Niin. Mut mitäs sen Morellon tyttärelle kävi?
Eikö sekin ollut siinä vieressä? Niitähän oli kaksi siinä
joku
ruumissa.
siinä vieressä, mutta
No sit se oli varmaan se.
Girl. Taas tää goddamn music. Täällä tapahtuu. Seinät liikkuu.
It's the devil. Coming to claim his boy. Oliko ne sanonut, että Devil in Me päättyy, on tän on se niinku season 1 lopetus tai jotain?
Oh, you're here. All good things must come to an end.
This is in a good
How
thing.
good was the end for our crew?
With the best one the fuck.
Hats off for keeping all of them alive. That's so rewarding for you. Has the experience changed them?
Probably.
Kate had a secret.
Ooh.
She was traumatized by something that happened a long time ago.
We know.
She faced the thing she was most afraid of in the whole world and survived.
Oh.
Jamie learned that she had to trust other people and work with them.
Okay.
And to care for them.
Uh-huh.
Mark had to stop waiting for people to tell him what to do.
Mark?
He had to make his own way in the world.
Mitä ihmettä? Aika olla
Erin
aikuinen
showed
mies.
everyone that though she might be easily spooked, she found immense courage when she needed it the most. And it took courage to act on the feelings she had for Jamie. And Charlie finally understood that leadership is more than ordering the team around.
Yeah.
He had to treat them as equals and let them take the lead when the time was right.
What? That's kind of weird, mutta...
I'll tackle the paperwork in the morning. Can you find your own way out? It was, as always, enlightening. I have no doubt we'll meet again in the future.
Valitettavasti.
Hopefully in a
How
better
we
game.
always- What is this?
Kato, niin se on elossa. Ainakin sen friendi. Siitä on ollut 2 kuitenkin.
Luulisin, että oli 2.
Veljekset kuilvekset. Who would have guessed?
You're telling me he's coming back?
The chain of events are still unclear at this point in time. What we can confirm is that a little after 7:30, a truck driver was flagged down to render aid. The police were called and quickly arrived on scene. The injured are part of a film crew, Lanet Entertainment, the team behind the Architects of Murder docuseries.
Suklaapuuro.
Man,
It seems
I
as
like
though
that show.
they got a little too close to their subject material. Thankfully for them, the nightmare is finally over.
Holy shit.
Remember how my video
Wait.
went viral?
How could we forget? You bring it up every chance you get.
Just listen to this. I got enough views to win a competition.
What did you win?
An all-expense paid trip to an island resort for 5.
Now I'm interested.
Yeah, Mr. Dumet says they're gonna send a limo and everything.
What?
This is gonna be so much fun.
I hope this is in the next game. Siellähän seisoo.
Joo. Bruh.
Man, fuck this game. This was the worst one of them all. I had so much hype and so much disappointment.
Tää ei kyllä ollut yhtään semmonen, mitä mä ajattelin, että tää olisi.
No en minäkään, mä luulen, että tää oli enemmän semmonen Savin tyylinen, mutta ei tää ollut vittu yhtään. This game deceived.
Won't you spare me over to another year? Now death, if this is true, please give
Pitäisikö tässä vuodessa tulla uusi? Se on nopeampi.
Mikä? Tuo seuraava peli Directive 8020 was revealed in a post-credit teaser trailer at the end of The Devil in Me. It will be season 2 premiere of the anthology.
En mä tiedä, kun mä sanoisin, että Man of Medan olisi varmaan huono pitää.
En nyt tiedä. Minä en edes pelannut sitä, mutta sen perusteella mitä mä näin sinun ja Willin pelaavan, niin se oli paljon parempi kuin tää. Ghost of Ashes oli ehkä paras.
Tuo olisi ollut paras, jos sä oot tappanut Ashetista!
I was...
You had one job!
I was bamboozled in my job. Näköjään H.H. Holmes oli ihan oikea henkilö.
As long as God in heaven shall dwell, my poor soul shall burn in hell. I said, oh death, won't you spare me over to another eve? I said, oh death, won't you spare me over to another?
Jee.
näköjään häntä ei lasketa sarjamurhaajaksi, jos hän ei tapaa samalla tavalla tai samasta syystä kaikkia.
Midwit.
Kun tässä lukee, että the murders we can connect Holmes to generally had a clear motive. Someone knew too much or was getting in his way and couldn't be trusted. The murders weren't simply for love of bloodshed, but a necessary part of furthering his swindling operations and protecting his lifestyle. Mielenkiintoista. T.D. Archer. Mark Nestor.
Nestor.
Katsotaan, mitä tämä on tehnyt. Fehinti Balogun. Mitä hittua? Mitäkkiä gemma. Se on näytellyt duunissa. Jossain muussa jotain tunnista.
Am I in the right place?
Oho. Cassiopeia.
After successfully rendezvousing with a Charybdis marker, we have detached the booster ring and spurts a high.
Ei kun se on tämä.
Se on tämä.
The ship has suffered a hull impact, but damage is minimal, and our technicians are restoring full functionality.
This is Thomas Carter. Something's wrong with Sims. She's trying to kill me. I think.
Okay, this might be interesting.
Our next transmission will be broadcast from orbit around humanity's future home. Staff it out.
Wow.
Alright.
Happy end.
But I have no hype left.
You
I
have
am
no
interested, mutta I will not
but in a non-interested way.
Any expectations. Joo. Siinä oli paska peli.
Ja me ei edes löydetty kaikkia business-kardeja.
Ei se haittaa.
Eikä kaikkia näitä. En edes tiedä, miten tämä on mahdollista. Pitää peikolla pakoitti menemään eteenpäin välillä.
No se on varmaan, että nää meni nyt tässä kohtaa eteenpäin, niin nyt sun on pakko mennä myös. Bonus features. Halutaanko me kattoo nää?
En mä tiedä.
Näillä kolikoilla saa näitä dioraamoja auki. Minä ostan Konnien dioraaman. Ja tässä voi katsoa vaan jotain 3D-mallia. This is useless. Dume, Jamie, Erin, Kate, Mark. Honeymooners. Mikä vittu on intimate? Intimate moment. Mitä? These are fucking weird, what the hell? Sen vitun hame klippaa sen reiden läpi. On valmis peli.
Wow, this is amazing.
Frenemies. Kate and Jamie put aside their differences.
Hyvää yötä, Bergi. Kiitos, että olit katsomassa.
Forset.
Mennään katsomaan, miltä toi interview with Jesse ja Bukleu näyttää.
Jesse ja Bukleu. You wanna count us down or?
No, I want you to count us down.
N-Y-T-N-Y. Jesse Buckley.
My name is Kate Wilder. I've got a master's in criminal psychology. I'm an investigative journalist and hope to make a difference.
Hey, we're here with Jesse Buckley to talk about Supermassive's brand new game in the Dark Pictures anthology, The Devil in Me. Let's start at the beginning. Tell us a bit about the character that you play.
I play a character called Kate Wilder, who is a presenter who's part of this documentary team who are doing a show about the serial killer H.H. Holmes.
America's first serial killer confessed to 27 murders. The number grew significantly. Nearly 200 lives.
I'm a serial killer documentary watcher. Is that your jam too?
Yeah, I'll watch a serial killer documentary.
Right.
Of course, women are watching that shit.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's kind of fascinating.
Girl.
I'm addicted to kind of those stories.
It is pretty weird, yeah.
Forget his games, traps, all that bullshit. Think about the killers we've covered.
I do not understand why women love crime shit so much.
Playing detective is how we survive.
So what interested you in the role?
Koska se auttaa heitä selviytymään semmoista tilanteesta, jos ikinä joutuvat semmoiseen.
Ootko näin?
I had no idea what the hell the world was.
Oh wow. Okay.
So that was firstly why I kind of was like, oh yeah, that sounds new and fun. And yeah, and then I read the script and talked to Alita, who's our
En usko, että nyt johtuu siitä.
seemed like a really lovely thing.
Koska se todennäköisesti sellaisen tilanteeseen joutuu on erittäin todennäköistä.
And I can't believe how
Girl. Todennäköisyys ei ole niin pieni kuin se on.
Usually I just get a script and
So you're saying there is todennäköisesti, että joudun Jeffrey Dahmerin uhriksi.
So as you kind of mentioned, the game has multiple branching paths, so your character could end up in any number of situations.
Siinä on jotain kohtaus.
Film a scene, multiple times with different endings.
What I found is like you can only be in whatever strand you're in at that time and figure out the emotion of it at that moment, because then you can offer up something completely different when you go into a different strand. And it's a very like immediate experience, which I guess is also what a player will feel when they're doing it as well. So I just kind of try and keep my head in where we are right there at that moment, and if I was trying to think of what was happening in the other strand, it would be a disaster.
It must be really hard, yeah, because you kind of have this mapping, I suppose, in your brain of what the outcomes could be, and then just trying to stay in that moment. It's very interesting stuff. So many things can happen to characters in the Dark Pictures anthologies. How do you make sure that Kate is always Kate, no matter what she's kind of faced with?
Well, I guess before we started, we did a big read-through with everybody, so it was good to kind of get a handle on who she is in the context of the environment she's in, but also the relationships that are in the world as well. It just kind of reveals itself from the script, and just kind of let her run free and see what
Tommuja näyttää vähän siltä Screamin Cindyn näyttelijältä.
I don't anyway.
It must be very difficult. Yeah, really difficult. And that's it. I guess it's quite good fun.
Is that even her name?
Okay, let's go with this and see where
Yo.
I think also Kate lives on the knife edge of she has a genuine obsession and curiosity about serial killers. So there's part of her that's kind of running towards it and part of her that's running away from it, you know, and all of them have come to be curious about H.H. Holmes. But also with that, you're kind of living a real life horror as you're going into this world.
So, come on Charlie. What do we know about this guy?
Olikohan tuolla niinku mitään seksuaalista merkitystä, kun se otti ton tolle irti tuolta hihasta?
And they all somehow genuinely feel like a crew, you know, like you kind of have the kind of riffs.
Charlie is thinking. Just looks a lot like a temper tantrum.
And the new fledgling
temper
loves
tantrum.
And then the kind of creeping horror of your life. What are you doing with your life?
Sounds you very know. Familiar. Yeah,
yes, Abismal, what are you doing with your life?
What is all of this?
Okay, so let's talk about the setting that Kate finds herself in. I've heard something about murder castles. I'd like to know more.
So the production company that Kate works for, Lonnet Entertainment, they get a mysterious call from a stranger who says that he's basically made a replica of H.H. Holmes' murder castle.
Wicked.
And invites them to come and document it because he knows that they're interested in serial killers. And Lonnet Entertainment, which is run by a character called Charlie, is kind of hard up, but only Charlie knows that. And so even though Kate is a bit kind of resistant to go because it just feels like another kind of fuddy-duddy thing, they agree to go to this island as one last kind of hurrah.
It sounds like absolutely nothing awful is going to happen. It sounds like a perfect setup.
I'm going to have a cup of tea.
Delightful. Yeah, lovely island. Very nice.
Look! Years are the wine that fill the cup of time.
So in the game, you've got quite a limited inventory. Which items would you take into the house if you could take anything?
I'd probably take
a phone so I can call.
Look,
help.
All these mad people are just in need of a hug. So
I think they need more than a hug.
Be like, Nate, let's sit down, have a glass of wine, talk about what's going on here.
Get Charlie's fags. Come here.
Fags?
Fags?
What the? Fags? What the? You cancel these people right now.
Start with the wine, and if that doesn't work, you've got the bottle. So I mean, it's
perfect.
You're done.
And if not, I could just drink it myself and have a lovely time.
Some kind of belt with 3 or 4 of them attached. Off you go. It's all going to be fine. And if it's not fine, you're not going to know about it.
Yeah,
done. Perfect. Good choice.
Think it's okay if we pour some wine?
God, please do.
So you've mentioned the chase scene with the other girls. Was that fun? That genuinely was fun to be running and scared and all of that?
Yeah, it's always fun. I mean, I think everything's kind of fun. So, thank God it's not something that happens regularly in your real life. So when you get to be part of something where it's super heightened and surprising and otherworldly things can happen, and you've got these 2 excellent kind of birds beside you who are like fighting off the demons, and you're genuinely scared and you're kind of doing it together. It's it's brilliant.
Pelasit sä tän?
I've been around mocap.
No.
I've seen mocap. It fascinates me. What was that like? And more so, what's it going to be like to see your face in a video game?
To wear a mocap is like, I mean, you just feel like you've got a huge nose because you've got this cycling helmet on, but then it has a huge beak at the end where there's a camera. And sometimes when they're putting it on, you can see the other actors already kind of lined up, and it's very close. It's very scary.
No! You're gonna kill me!
But yeah, I think it'd be super interesting. I don't know, maybe I'll look a bit better. They'll doctor me off or something.
Are you sure about that?
It's just a better version of me. Yeah, I think it'd be really interesting.
It's going to be very cool. As far as, let's say, traditional acting versus video game acting, what were the differences? Was there a huge kind of difference between the two?
Mä en tiedä, ootko sä nähnyt,
I'd
mutta...
say the main difference is...
Mä en tiedä, onko se niinku aina kun ne aloittaa tai ne lopettaa, niin niiden täytyy tehdä toi vitun T-pose.
narratively it's the same kind of experience because
Ja vaikka siinä ekassa Last of Usissa, kun se vitun Joel on silleen,
wonderful directors like interacting with us.
kun se sen daughter kuolee.
Also you're on a
Ja
stage
sit se vetää sen
with square boxes
itkemisjuttunsa siihen perään, niin sit sen jälkeen sen täytyy nousta ylös ja tehdä se T-pose. Niin.
all that's being taught is the emotions.
Last of Usissa oli mocappi?
Yes!
What? Just focusing on your face. That must be a real like.
That's how they make it. Tiedätkö, kuinka vaikeita se on animoida?
They're really good.
On helpompi tehdä mocapilla.
I don't really try and think about that too much.
I didn't even know that.
I think if I did think about it, it would be an awful disaster.
Todennäköisesti kaikki tällaiset realistiset pelit tehdään mocapilla.
You just kind of listen and listen to everybody else that's there and get on with it.
We need a plan.
Ainakin Assassin's Creedit ja Last of Usit, Horizonit tämmöstä.
You suggesting we invite him to tea and psychoanalyze?
Sekin voi olla, että jossain pelissä voi olla vaikka jotain hyökkäyksiä, niistä joku oikea ihminen on niinku esittänyt ne. Mocapissa ja sit se on siirretty siihen peliin. Tovi.
Ning ning!
Mitä vittu?
You need to go to their account round and look at Ning Ning's teaser pictures.
Siis keneen?
AS Ning.
Instas vai?
Ne on siellä myös.
No mihin sä oot mennyt? Give me a website.
Me Instaan tai Twitteriin, kumpi on parempi.
Mikä niitten Insta? Aaspa.
Oo.
ASPA-käyttäjätili on yksityinen.
ASPA_official. $11 miljoonaa seuraajaa. Siis. Sale niille on vittu julkaistuna kuvaa tosta vittu parhaimmasta kuvasta.
Onks täällä enemmänkin?
Kiitur on.
No täällä Instassa ainakin tämmönen vitun iso semmonen.
No niin, mut ne ei oo julkaissut siitä kuvaa. I want that.
That? Aespa fan meeting. I'm the drama.
Oli vasta. On gadget.
No katsotaanko me America's First Serial Killer.
Katsotaan.
Right now, fool. Right now.
Torture chambers, secret passageways, vats of acid, and deadly vaults. In 1895, Chicago police unearthed horrific evidence of torture and multiple murders at the sprawling castle of H.H. Holmes. Masquerading under the guise of caring doctor, kind husband, and prominent businessman, H.H. Holmes was a contemporary monster, designing his buildings solely for the disposal of human bodies.
Wow.
Torture Doctor, Monster of 63rd Street. H.H. Holmes was America's first serial killer. Just south of Chicago, the suburb of Inglewood was thriving with commerce. The train station itself had 9 leading lines of railway and over 100 trains stopping there every day. No other suburb of Chicago had this luxury.
Dr. Henry Howard Holmes. Pleasure to meet you.
Arriving in Chicago, Holmes finds work immediately at the E.S. Holton drugstore, located at the southeast corner of 63rd and Wallace in Englewood. Several months later, Everett Holton dies of supposed natural causes. Then Claire Holton, his wife, disappears after selling the drugstore to Holmes. Owning the drugstore, Holmes had a steady flow of cash. He would often purchase and resell goods and properties under his numerous aliases. In addition to scamming creditors, Holmes obtained his funds from other phony inventions, such as a mineral water elixir, which in reality was obtained from the city's water supply.
Probably the real thing too. These days.
1888, Holmes secures a lease on the vacant property across the street from the drugstore, the southwest corner of 63rd and Wallace.
Wallace.
It is here that
Plain
Holmes
Wallace
will make his horrific dreams come true. He will construct a building for which the entire world will remember him.
Fantasies start very young, and so what he did then was he took a step furtherance of his fantasies to make it reality. And probably, if we had done a little bit of investigation back then, we would have seen things like his plans, but not just plans for a building, because we'd expect to see architectural plans, but plans for his torture rooms.
For the suburb of Englewood, the building Holmes is erecting at 63rd and Wallace is a massive construction project. Day after day, passers-by stop to gaze at the spectacle of the many laborers working together to create a magnificent new edifice in their neighborhood. Englewood residents were so impressed with the massive building that they named it the Castle. From its outward appearance, it seemed rather normal. But like the duality of Holmes, the exterior and interior of the building were extremely different.
Holmes himself was the architect of the building. He was the only one who knew its design. There was this constant turnover of workers on the building. He would hire a mason to put in a wall and then fire the guy, or hire somebody to put in part of a staircase and then fire him. And there seemed to be several very sinister reasons behind that. One was he managed not to pay a lot of these people because he was always claiming that they were doing incompetent work. But the other, much more insidious reason was that no one except him really had a clear idea of what the structure of the interior of the house was. He had a huge bank vault installed in one of the rooms. And the way he did it was he put the vault in first while the building was under construction, and then built the room around it. And he bought this thing on credit and then refused to pay for it. The bank company said they were going to repossess the vault. Holmes said, well, come on in and do, but if you damage my building in any way, I'm going to sue you for everything you're worth.
Okay.
The bottom floor of the castle housed a pharmacy, jewelry store, barber shop, restaurant, and a blacksmith shop. Behind this innocent facade was a Gothic house of horrors designed by the mind of a monster.
What the hell was that?
The seemed innocent enough, containing rented rooms, legitimate offices, and Holmes's own bedroom. But it was the second floor that contained 35 rooms, many specifically designed as killing chambers.
Miten sillä oli rahaa tähän?
No sehän skämmäsi jengiä, niin sehän sai juttuja ilmaiseksi ja kaikkea.
Unsuspecting victims, the labyrinthian construction contained numerous staircases and doorways.
No sehän omisti se. Sen. Drugstoren, niin varmaan omisti myös kaikkea muuta siihen päälle. Ehkä saa jotain vuokratuloja noista barbershopeista, jos muista mitä oli tuolla pohjakerroksessa.
For a quick method of hiding a victim's body, a concealed greased chute and trapdoor led directly into the basement of the castle.
Ja noin.
The basement held the most terrifying rooms, resembling a medieval torture dungeon. Acid vats, quicklime pits, and a crematorium disguised as a glass-bending furnace were Holmes's favorite methods of immediate body disposal.
Aina kun ne tuolla Wikipediassa sanoi, että se yksi äijä sanoi, että hän ei ole sarjamurhaaja. Yet he built a whole house to killing people, niin what the fuck?
Mm-hmm. No, jos ei täytä niitä sarjamurhaajan kriteereitä.
After cleaning and mounting their bones, Holmes would profit from his victims by selling their skeletons to local medical schools and universities.
Damn.
Holmes would make a killing in Chicago, financially and literally.
Aika moista.
May 1st, 1893, the World's Columbian Exposition is open to the public in Chicago. Spanning 600 acres, sprawled out along beautiful Lake Michigan, the magnificent fair is a monumental sight to behold.
Näyttää kivalta.
Over 20 million people from around the world would attend the dazzling World's Fair between May 1st and October 30th, 1893.
Vitun fontti tässä vaan leijii.
Holmes utilizes the World's Fair as the perfect opportunity to capitalize on his demented design of the castle. Located only a few miles from the World's Fair, Holmes's castle was perfect lodging for tourists. Holmes decides to rent rooms to visitors of the fair. He entirely renovates the upper floors of the castle, bringing in the most modern furnishings and luxuries, all purchased on credit, which Holmes had no intention of repaying.
Well.
In addition to placing newspaper ads for rooms to rent, Holmes visited the fair with several of Benjamin Peitzel's children, preying on elderly women who flaunted their wealth, making sure he invited them back to the castle for a warm night's stay in a soft bed.
Yo.
They're not calling their relatives, telling them where they're at. They just know that they're going to Chicago to see the Columbian Exposition. Perfect victims, because they're unknown in the city. Their relatives, wherever they came from, know that they were coming to Chicago, and they never came back. Now, how do you start to find them? They don't even know where they stayed. Perfect, easy victims. I'm sure some of them got in and out of his place with no problem. And others, they walked in and they never checked out.
Kela, että sä kävit tuolla ja sit sä oot tietää, että tällaista on tapahtunut tuolla ja sillä
Hidden in Holmes's office was a master control panel which connected to gas lines leading into airtight sleeping chambers. Holmes would lead his victims into the rooms, lock them in, and turn on the gas, asphyxiating them while watching their demise.
me out! Holmes, let me out, please! Holmes!
Holmes!
Holmes, please.
At the height of the World's Fair, Holmes masterfully juggles his castle businesses, renting rooms, dodging creditors, selling skeletons, and attending to the needs of the many women in his life.
Rizman.
I have had many young ladies in my employ, most of whom are still living in and about Chicago, whose parents and friends know only too well that far from being their seducer, I have done much to materially help them in their narrow lives.
Being a personable, attractive young doctor and businessman, Holmes won the
Of course
hearts
he was
of many
attractive.
women throughout his life. At one point, Holmes managed to secretly have 3 wives, each never knowing of the others.
Hey, yo.
In 1890, Julia Connor became Holmes's employee and mistress, living at the castle with her daughter Pearl.
Uh-huh.
When she
Hyvä
became
mut.
pregnant and demanded marriage, Holmes agreed on the condition that she allowed him to perform an abortion on her. She agreed.
Mitä ihmettä?
Neither Julia nor her daughter Pearl were ever seen again.
Damn.
Just a week later, Holmes sold a clean, articulated skeleton to the Hahnemann Medical College for nearly $200. In 1892, Holmes acquired
Kuinka
another
pitkä tää on?
mistress, Emmeline Cigrand, and employed her as a private secretary. Holmes sent Emmeline into the vault to retrieve some papers and sealed it,
Onkohan tää joku valmis
suffocating her to death.
dokkari vai tehtiinkö sitä peliä varten?
Several weeks later,
I don't
the
know,
University
man.
of Chicago acquired a female skeleton from Dr. Holmes. In 1893, Minnie Williams became Holmes's new private
Minnie.
secretary and eventually his mistress. Minnie was the beneficiary of a property in Fort Worth, Texas, valued at over $40,000. Holmes murdered Minnie and her younger sister Nanny after having Minnie sign over the Fort Worth property to him.
Vittu miten?
In 1894, Georgiana Yoke
Mielestäni kirjoittamista
became
täytyy.
Holmes's third wife. He married her under the name Henry Mansfield Howard. Like his other legitimate wives, Georgiana lived out her entire life.
Uh-huh. The only way to evade this man was to marry him.
1895, Chicago police enter the Holmes castle. The world would now learn of the horrors that the castle had kept secret for so very long.
Lamput.
As disoriented detectives and police searched the upper floors of the castle, the true depths of Holmes's evil were waiting in the basement.
Atlantis ääniä.
Among the death devices in the basement of the castle, investigators find piles of mixed human and animal bones, bloody women's undergarments, and a wooden dissection table saturated with dried blood.
Miksi tämä näyttää vähän Jim Carreylta? Or is it just me?
Chicago police were inundated with names of people reported missing from the World's Fair. 50 missing people were eventually traced to the Castle of Horrors. The evidence, blood and bones found in the basement posed a problem for 19th century criminal investigative techniques.
It was very difficult to go and identify even the bones as being human in origin, because with the very small fragments you didn't have enough of the identifying characteristics to be able to make that ID.
The world is now calling Holmes the monster of 63rd Street, torture doctor, and the modern Bluebeard.
Bluebeard?
Overnight, Holmes transforms from arch-swindler to arch-fiend. A Chicago journalist calls
The original
Holmes
Tinder
a
swindler.
multi-murderer.
The Holmes case generated this incredible amount of national attention and really international attention. Really in his own time and in America, Holmes was much more notorious and more widely known than Jack the Ripper, who was a contemporary of his. Then as now, people were very, very fascinated to sort of visit the sites of these terrible crimes. And his castle became a kind of tourist site. And there were various people who were wanted to take it over and turn it into a kind of murder museum. And then, just before some impresario was about to make it again into this tourist attraction, it burnt down. Somebody burnt it down. I mean, it could have been, who knows, some outraged citizen who didn't want this to become some very morbid tourist attraction. Holmes's trial was kind of the O.J. Simpson trial of the day. It just generated this huge amount of publicity. The case had become a kind of national obsession. Of course, there wasn't CNN or Court TV back then, so it couldn't be covered quite as relentlessly, but it was covered very, very extensively. There were true crime books and pamphlets and
shit.
stuff. And Holmes himself had become a sort of folk figure almost, you know, the sort of national boogeyman.
But why did they got to draw him like a daddy?
Because he was a daddy of his Maddie.
The courtroom fills for the final verdict to be read.
Read him.
Holmes becomes extremely nervous when not one of the jury members looks at him.
Okay.
In his entire criminal career, this is the moment Holmes never believed would occur.
Damn.
He is found guilty of murder in the first degree. Herman Webster Mudgett, alias H.H. Holmes, would be hanged on May 7th, 1896.
Damn. Sinne men.
While Holmes was in jail, awaiting the execution of a sentence, he was made an offer by William Randolph Hearst, supposedly for a significant amount of money, to provide his confessions. Holmes, who had already issued at a half a dozen completely self-contradictory versions of his crimes, clearly at this point felt he had nothing to lose. He was going to die anyway. In this confession, he did a complete about-face and portrayed himself as the worst monster who ever lived. He just basically confessed to every crime anybody had ever suspected him of and threw in a few more for good measure.
He's reliving the fantasies after the fact now. He's reliving the fantasies of things that he did.
She was very willing to do this and prepared to leave the vault upon completing the letter, only to learn that the door would never again be opened until she had ceased to suffer the tortures of a slow and lingering death. The partial excavation in the walls of this room found by the police was caused by Latimer's endeavoring to escape by tearing away the solid brick and mortar with his unaided fingers.
Kaivot tiensä ulos.
I closed the door and turned on both the oil and steam to their full extent. In a short time, not even the bones of my victim remained. It was the footprint of Nanny Williams that was found upon the painted surface of the vault door, made during her violent struggles before death. Only one difficulty presented itself. It was necessary for me to kill him in such a manner that no struggle or movement of his body should occur. I overcame this difficulty by first binding him hand and foot, and having done this, I proceeded to burn him alive by saturating his clothing and his face with benzene and igniting it with a match.
What a horrible way to die.
As soon as he had ceased to breathe, I cut his body into pieces, and by the combined use of gas and corn cobs, proceeded to burn it with as little feeling as though it had been some inanimate object. I immediately took them to the Vincent Street house and compelled them to get within the large trunk, through the cover of which I had made a small opening and ended their lives by connecting the gas with the trunk. Then came the opening of the trunk and the viewing of their little blackened and distorted faces. Then the digging of their shallow graves in the basement of the house. The ruthless stripping off of their clothing and the burial without a particle of covering save the cold earth. I am convinced that since my imprisonment, I have changed woefully and gruesomely from what I was formerly in feature and figure. My features are assuming a pronounced satanical cast. My head and face are gradually assuming an elongated shape. I believe fully that I am growing to resemble the devil.
So that's why this game is called The Devil in Me?
Yes.
Good job.
On the gallows, just before he died, he recanted. He claimed that the confession that he had published was a complete fabrication.
The extent of my wrongdoing in the taking of human life consists in contriving the killing of 2 women that have died at my hands as a result of criminal operations. That is all I have to say.
H.H. Holmes is hanged on Thursday, May 7th, 1896, just 9 days before his 35th birthday. At 10:25 a.m., he is pronounced dead.
He was very concerned that after his execution, his body would be dug up either by medical men seeking to dissect his brain and find out what made him tick, or just ghoulish sort of, souvenir hunters. And he requested that he be buried within a big slab of concrete, which he actually was. One of the things about Holmes is that nobody knows for sure.
Ei sen takia, että hän sanoi, että hänessä on paholainen ja se ei estäisi. Kuolema ei estäisi hän tulemasta takaisin.
There have been stories that he killed 50, 100, countless people, particularly in Chicago at the height of the World's Fair.
How many people did Holmes actually murder? Most likely, no one will ever know. Holmes and the many other people that came in contact with him are long gone, having taken the answers with them to their graves.
I was born with the devil in me. I could not help the fact that I was a murderer no more than the poet can help the inspiration to sing. I was born with the evil one standing as my sponsor beside the bed where I was ushered into the world. And he has been with me since.
Zion. Are you sleeping yet?
No, because this was interesting too much. It's the woman in me interested in serial killers and true crime.
Mm-hmm.
Katsotaan Mocking the Murder Castle.
Se on varmaan lyhyempi, koska tuossa luki Watch a Documentary, mutta tuossa luki Watch a Short Documentary.
Ai niin, mun piti sanoa tuosta Bluebeardista. Että se oli ritari Siniparta on ranskalainen tarina, joka kertoo aatelisesta sarjamurhaista ja hänen liian uteliaasta vaimostaan. Niin siitä tulee Bluebeard. Vissiin tossa Wolf Among Usissa oli kans joku Bluebeard-niminen hahmo taisi olla. Anyway, shall we watch? N-U-D-N-U. Paholainen tekemisestä.
So, what do we know about this guy?
He's rich, he's a recluse, he's obsessed with H.H. Holmes.
We're going to a property he inherited from a relative. Some of the rooms are full recreations from the murder castle. Dumet has blueprints, documents, artifacts.
Totally sane, I'm sure.
There are various elements we knew we wanted to explore when designing the hotel. From developing areas and set pieces that generated a constant sense of uneasiness and tension, to memorable trap rooms that forced the player into frantic life.
Whoa.
I'm so sorry.
We took a lot of inspiration from Holmes' original murder castle, as we wanted to capture the way that Holmes' castle was created to disorientate and confuse the
Onkohan sillä mitään väliä selvisikö noin vai ei?
To the World's Fair Hotel.
As cunning as Dumet is, not everything in his castle runs like clockwork anymore.
Se mies olisi varmaan voinut selviä.
Mutta
siinäkin olisi varmaan käynyt joku bullshit-juttu, että se olisi tulin kompastunut ja taittanut niskansa tai jotain.
The production design for the hotel needed to reflect the original design, utilising a Victorian-style facade and castle turrets, interiors with ornate mouldings and panelling, being made larger to accommodate the game's intention to be used as a vast labyrinth to create fear and horror. This included the hidden rooms, sliding walls, trapdoors, and secret basements, but with extra central monitor rooms and death rooms, all hidden from the guests, providing multiple layers and multiple levels to explore, unveiling the horror within. Special attention was given to the design of the areas such as the lobby, the bar area, and the dining rooms to provide an authentic, believable Victorian hotel, bringing a feeling of magnitude and foreboding to intimidate the player.
Guys? Is that you?
The hotel guest rooms were designed to be opulent yet aged, in keeping in style with furnishings and fittings, yet having additional modern electronic window shutters installed to trap the victims. Secret observation rooms were also built adjoining, with hidden doorways to enter. Corridors were cleverly designed to include mechanical sliding walls hidden within the Victorian framework, used to change the layout of the labyrinth throughout the hotel.
Fuck.
The murder inventions designed within locations included the suffocation and crushing rooms, furnaces, and acid baths. The monitor room was a newly constructed area, deep within the core of the hotel. This room allowed Dumet the full control of the labyrinth and its workings.
In The Devil in Me, we make use of a range of mechanics new to the Dark Pictures series to help convey the unsettling mood and threat of the hotel.
This is a transfers.
With an expanded focus on exploration, the player spends a lot of the time exploring the hotel's labyrinthian corridors, and as each character revisits a shared area, the feel of it changes. Each character has their own unique light source. Erin and Jamie, as the practical sound and lighting techs, have fairly straightforward torches, with Erin's directional microphone providing an additional small light when in use. Mark, the camera operator, has his camera flash, lifting the darkness in short bursts and providing mini jump
You could have
scares
done
when
that?
Suddenly sees something out of the gloom.
Yo.
Kate lights her way around with her makeup
I
machine,
never saw you do it
providing
once.
a small amount of light to fumble through the corridors.
Fumble.
And then Charlie's sole light source is his own cigarette lighter, casting the hotel in its flickering orange light and barely really lighting anything at all.
Jamie.
Barely lighting anything. Mark's fucking camera.
These shared areas differently through this, adding to the sense of the familiar hotel rooms changing with each visit.
It's amazing.
The Allen Hotel was originally built in the 1890s. It was converted into a spa later on until it was abandoned and finally chosen by Dumet for his murder playground. Some parts had been restored, like the rooms the characters stay in and the lush lobby and bar areas on the first floor. We work closely with concept art and art direction to create distinct color palettes and ornate assets that made those areas more inviting while still leaving something unsettling about their imperfections. But elsewhere, we could show the hotel and spa's original treatment rooms and the indoor pool which had fallen into disrepair and other thematically different places. Our second challenge was getting into Dumet's head. We knew that he was supposed to be a very meticulous man. He's the sole architect of this place and proud of his creations. Some rooms are deliberately left in disrepair. We created them with the base layers showing, and we scattered building equipment around to tell the narrative that Dumet still has plans for them. Others he had completely purpose-built. That's where we used a mix of old brick and breeze block materials next to each other to create contrast. And on top of that, there are traps everywhere. Some of the most interesting areas to create were the ones which were supposed to be off-limits to hotel guests. We wanted to show the stark contrast of his personal space versus the one he hunts people in. The team went as far to even design Dumet's handwriting, and we used that on boards and documents to show more of his personality. There's storytelling in every small detail.
Lighting in Devonme is a bit different from the previous dark picture games, since we have more explorations and more playable areas in the game for players to freely explore. We had to slightly adjust the way we used to do lighting by adding some new stuff, such as adding more guide lights in the environment for direction, or add some interactable light fixtures that you can trigger on and off by walking closer or away from them. So there are 4 types of lighting styles in the hotel. The first one is the regular hotel areas where everyone should feel safe and cozy. We try to use more bright, warm color lights with different elegant light fixtures. And the second one is the areas that are either under constructions, used as Dumet's workshop, or places only lit by moonlight or should be pitch black. We used cooler temperature lights or even blue lights for these kind of areas with very low light intensity and very heavy volumetric fog to enhance the claustrophobic vibe and to elevate the tension. So the third
hell was that?
would be the control room where
Was
Dumet
what?
watches and
Toi, jossa se
controls
oli
all
siinä
the
tuolissa.
activities in the hotel. We
Silloin
want this
kuumalla.
room to be especially bright like an
Did we ever see that?
industrial
Maybe
house with
something
cool
they
evening
cut
light
out.
separated from the other rooms. And the last one is all the rooms that are designed to be slaughter stages. Killing is like creating art to Dumet, and he wants all his artworks to be presented epically with audiences, classical music, and beautiful lighting setup. So in these areas, unlike the others that have more neutral color in the lights, we tend to artificially light these areas with either theatrical lighting or use high contrast saturated lighting setup, so that we know something is going to happen.
Vaan kuvitella, kun noin menee tonne silleen, että yo, pretend that you're doing something and we'll film it.
Historical sonic experience whilst inside the murder castle. We researched multiple properties and buildings built within the same period as the original Chicago murder castle. Authentic door foley and sound effects elements were high on our priority list. We recorded multiple door openings, closings, handles, rattles and squeaks. Throughout pre-production, we'd seen all the variations of emotion characters would be displaying when using the doors, ranging from calmness through to blind panic and incensed rage. All these emotions could be channeled into the performance we recorded. Another element of the soundscape we went into considerable detail recording was floorboard and stair creaks.
Virtually every step we took provided us with a distinctive and unique sound. We recorded these creaks in 3 states: running, walking, and walking slow. To further add to this, as the characters climb higher inside the Met's murder castle, the creaks will become more frequent as you enter unfinished rooms, exposed walkways, and the structural integrity of the hotel becomes more dangerous and unstable.
In terms of the music, we chose various 19th century pieces of classical music and opera to accompany the murder scenes. These would have been the pop music tracks around the time of H.H. Holmes, providing a cognitive link between past and present. Classical music and opera accompanies a lot of the murder scenes, often playing through a gramophone or a tannoy, which is then fed back through our bespoke impulse responses to allow the music to naturally echo throughout the cellars and corridors of the space.
What is this?
We took a similar approach as well with the abstract sound design, including nods to classic horror films with really discordant, unnerving piano impacts and bowed metal interspersed with electromagnetic recordings, synths and ultra-modern distortion to provide that juxtaposition and that link through time between the historical setting and the modern-day story.
Designing the hotel as a play space presented different challenges than previous Dark Pictures games. We've gone from quite open environments in House of Ashes and Little Hope to a more enclosed one with the hotel. The ability to revisit previous environments at different points of the story, with different layouts and different emotional states, meant that we had to collaborate very closely with each other to make sure we designed each area to cater for every requirement. We had to think how a lit corridor would feel if multiple characters roaming around it, versus the same corridor drenched in darkness with just a singular player character. Empty hotels are inherently eerie, and it allowed us to play with the idea of liminal space to try and create a murder castle that felt uncanny, with something that felt truly unique.
It's me! Get in here!
Jamie?
Thank God.
Purpesti. Tiedä. Murder with Morello. Silver Frame Secrets. I'm not gonna.
Mistähän se voi kertoa vaan?
I don't know. Let's check the YouTubes. Murder with Morello.
What's up, my people? It's Joe Morello here with another podcast talking about the beautiful thing that we like to call murder. As ever, I'm joined on the show by my wife, Michelle.
Hello, Joe. Hello, listeners. What wicked delights do you have waiting for us on the coroner's slab today, Joe?
I'm glad you asked that, Michelle, because we're going to go deep with this one as we talk about the Shoe Shine Killer.
A new killer on the block.
And we have a cameo appearance from your friend and mine, Manny Sherman, the Beast of Arkansas.
What a lineup.
That's right. This is a case that's going to blow the listeners' minds because I believe, and I'm just putting it out there, that maybe, just maybe, local law enforcement got this one wrong.
Sounds like a great show.
You got it. But before we dig a little deeper, plant on this case, our target lives.
I don't know, seems stupid.
Mutta on enemmänkin joku vitu podcasti, kun noissa kuvissa ei ole niinku kauheasti mitään järkeäkään.
Yeah, forget about that. Alright. I guess that's all that. That's that. All that. Kiitos kaikille, jotka oli striimissä katsomassa ja kommentoimassa. Ja nähdään seuraavan striimin parissa. Ja siihen asti. Hei.